of this project is for you to get a chance to start working with clay, attaching two pieces of clay, and you're going to be making a seat marker for the seating chart and a rack marker so you can identify your rack where you keep your ceramics projects while you're working on them. The seating chart is over here, actually on this wall, and here are a number of markers that students have made in the past that sort of work to identify who they are. They've got their initials or their name written on them, as well as some way to express who they are or their interests. So you can have a lot of fun doing all sorts of different shapes and just being creative and being yourself.
All right, once again, this project that you're doing, your seat and rack marker, is designed to help us get to know you and you get to know us. And the very first thing you should do is think about what is it that you do in your life that might be of interest to us teachers or to your other students.
I personally find that it helps to like make a little sketch, and well, I keep a sketchbook, but any piece of paper will work if that helps you just to get your ideas going. What are your interests? What are your hobbies? Right. What sports do you play? Any number of things that are interesting to you could use.
That sounds great. All right, let's get started. So for my project, I'm an old surfer, so I want a surfboard attached to mine. What do you think?
I think I have to have a disco ball because I'm sort of infamous for my Funky Friday sketchbook days.
So after you've sort of sketched out your idea, I cut out my surfboard and my fin, I got my name sort of coiled, and I have the slab it's going to be on. What you now need to do is get these pieces of clay to stick together. And that is the most important element of this project. The other thing is, don't get carried away at the beginning making sure it's too perfect. You're going to have lots of opportunities through this project to straighten out edges, smooth things out. But do get your ideas together. All right, the most important part of this project is to learn how to get one piece of clay to stick to another. And there are 4 very specific steps you need to take with sort of variations. You need to scratch the surface so that when you get it together, it'll stick. You have to wet the surface or put slip in there. You have to press the pieces of clay together, and then you have to compress the edges. So let me show you with my surfboard. Here's my surfboard. I'm going to get this wet. I'm going to get this wet. I'm going to scratch that surface. Scratch that surface. I'm going to press them together, the two surfaces, and then I'm going to compress the edges. What that means is I'm actually squishing one piece of clay into the other piece of clay to hold it in place.
So for my project, I've made my disco ball a little bit thicker than the other parts of my seat marker. So I've hollowed out the back because the thicker your clay is, the more likely it might have an air pocket in there, and if you fire that in the kiln, it'll explode. So I hollowed it out, and I'm going to attach it. So scratching and scoring are sort of the same thing. We might use these words interchangeably. So I'm going to scratch that and sort of mark where this is going to go so I know where to scratch on this. I'm going to score where I attach this here. And you can add water or you can add slip. I like using slip. It kind of works as a mortar to attach these two. And I'm going to press it on there. So I scored and scratched and I wet it with my slip. I pressed it in. Now I'm compressing the edges. But I have, as you saw, a massive air pocket that I just built in there. And I don't want to leave that in there because I don't want this to explode. It might not only destroy my project, but it could destroy other people's project. So I'm going to make a way for that air to escape through the back. So for the back here, I know approximately, I can see right through here where this is. I am just going to make a nice little hole for this air to escape through here, and I got to make sure I'll be able to see that I'm actually getting all the way through. Get that nasty clay out of there. And this way, when it's fired, no problem. All the air that was caught inside my disco ball can come out and escape, and I can just clean that up.
So we've now made our projects, remember with these projects, you need to have either your name
Or your initials.
on the project so it it connects with you, and something about you. So Rob is a surfer. The other thing that's important is
It needs a hole because this is going to hang on the seat rack, so you need to put a hole up at the top so that it can hang. So I usually use a needle tool.
right, I use the back of my needle tool because I'm comfortable, and I simply take it and I push it through and pull it back out. I've got a hole.
At this point, you can continue to refine your work. I've got to work on my disco ball a little more, and you may have noticed that we put water on a paintbrush around the edges, and it just kind of helps to fill in any cracks that might be forming and adhere one piece of clay to another.
But by the end of this project, you're gonna have something we can hang on the wall. You'll go through all the stages. You'll let this dry. You'll fire it for the first time, it'll become bisque. You'll paint it with glaze.
And fire it one more time, and then you'll be good to go.
But I forgot, we also have to make a rack marker. Simple, sits on your shelf, really fast, nothing exciting. Watch this. Done. Okay, you know the right way to do it, but that's the idea. This could be sitting on the shelf and at least remind me where my things go.
I'm going to put more detail.
Yeah, I know, we both would. Okay, so I've been doing this for a while. Here's some finished ones. The one I made real quick, that's not acceptable. You need to be careful. You need to make something you're proud of. But at the end, you're gonna fire them. They'll become bisque. You'll glaze them. They'll be that. And you'll have a seat and a rack marker.